Welcome to Dog on the Plot. I'm Kerry, this is Dory, and today we're in the home garden because I am super behind on my autumn jobs. But it's not too late, I hope. So there are a couple of reasons why I've fallen behind in the home garden, not least of course because I've got a new allotment plot. So I've been moving everything from the old allotment to the new allotment, and that's taken quite a lot of time and headspace. And the home garden has kind of got neglected because of that. And I did think I would work on it last weekend, but then of course the cold snap that was predicted did in fact turn up. And I did head down to the plot because I had to see the new plot, of course, in the frost. We did get a little bit of snow in Leicester, but I wasn't around to see it. We got more in Derby, and I was also in Birmingham on that day, and there was lots of snow there. But actually in Leicester, we only got a bit of a sprinkling. And then of course, after the cold weather, we had Storm Bert. So I also went down the plot to see how we'd fared in the storm. And actually, Mark and I, our plots were fine. There were some casualties down the allotment. So I saw a greenhouse had collapsed, which was a bit sad. Mr. Singh's polytunnel and his brassica cage had succumbed, but he didn't seem so worried about it. He was like, "It's fine. I'll just put it back up." It was nice to see that, as promised, there was no flooding on the new plots, even though our old plots were, as always, flooded. But the bad weather was actually a really good excuse to take a break. I think after 2 really big weekends doing that moving, it was time for a little rest. And part of that was going to meet Clare. Clare from the Farmyard Garden. We met at Fairways Garden Centre in Ashbourne. And well, Clare literally brought a van full of stuff for me, literally, including an absolutely huge pumpkin. This is a polar bear pumpkin, and lots of little pumpkins as well. She also brought me, and this is very special, one of her loofahs. And she didn't peel it. She wanted me to have the experience of peeling a loofah. So this one is completely dry, and you can hear that there are seeds in there. So we're going to peel that in a little bit. But she also gave me a green one to see if that would dry. Yeah, super generous. And we spent about 5 hours chatting in the garden centre. Of course, we also bought stuff, and I'll show you what I bought. I bought my second David Austin rose, and this one is called Summer Song, and the colour just looks so unusual. It's calls it orange red, but it's got a real blush to it that is almost raspberry like, and I'm really excited to see what the flower will look like in real life. It looks like a nice healthy plant, even though it was half price, and I've got to find a spot for it in the garden now, which might be easier said than done. And then the other thing that I picked up, not just at Fairways, but actually at several garden centres, were bulbs. So I haven't put a single bulb into the garden yet. I have got an enormous tub there of daffodil bulbs. Those are a mixed lot, but then I also bought, well, these are mixed as well. So I've got 3 bags of those, and I've got more honey garlic, although this is called honey lily, but it's the same thing, I'm sure. Honey garlic does not come back in my garden for some reason, so I bought some more of those to put in. I've got some summer snowflake. I love snowdrops, but summer snowflake come a little bit later in the season. We've also got some paperwhite narcissus for inside. I've got some alliums here. Oh, and I have got one tulip table dance. And oh, there's the other one, tulip beauty of apple dawn. So we've got a few of these to get into the garden, but I can't get these into the garden until I've had a tidy up. And in fact, usually I would do my sort of in the garden intros in the greenhouse, and the reason I've not done that and I've had to sit here is because I can't even get in the greenhouse. So when we had the cold snap, I just shoved everything in there, and it's still all in there. I've still got tomatoes growing in there. Well, they're not growing, they're just being dead. So that needs a big clear out. As you can see from sitting here, there's just dead stuff everywhere, and although some of it I do like to keep standing for the insects over the winter, there's a lot of stuff that does need tidying up. Oh yeah, I forgot this basket as well. This basket is full of onion sets. Those were from my cousin. I bought some red sun. No, those ones are from Clare, the red sun shallots, I think. Yeah, and I bought the Autumn Champion onions. And then I've also got these shallots from Clare, which are... Oh, banana shallots, of course they are. I should have been able to tell that from the shape of them. And I've also got a big shoebox full of all the bulbs that I lifted in the summer from the tubs and things that I had in the garden. So there's a lot to get in the ground. Oh, and my garlic. I haven't put any garlic in yet, have I? I've got a lot of garlic to put in. I've got loads of elephant garlic as well that I saved from this year and want to plant for next year. Oh my goodness. Okay, well... I can't do any of this until I've cleared some of the garden. So I'm going to change jumper. I'm going to put my scruffs on and let's go look at the veg patch and see what needs doing. Right, I'm transformed into somebody who's going to do stuff, and I've got to think about the order in which I'm going to do stuff. I think the greenhouse has to be first, because if I haven't got the greenhouse as a hub, I'm going to start getting stuck, aren't I? So greenhouse is first, then what? We've got the herb garden. That's full of dahlias. I don't know. I'm not going to lift those dahlias. I'm not. I've made the decision. I'm going to mulch that entire bed with wood chip. I've got some wood chip. I'm just going to do that and hope for the best. Okay, that's good. I can do that. And actually, one of the other things to do is clear this path so I don't fall over. It's got all the ginkgo leaves and they've gone slimy. Right, down into the veg patch then. So, ochre. That foliage needs to come up. I shan't be lifting the tubers just yet. I'm going to give those a couple more weeks to fatten up, but the dead foliage can come off the top, and I shall mulch that perhaps with some of that wood chip as well, because I do want to keep it protected from the cold. But I mean, just all of these beds really just need to be cleared up. Oh, and then there's that. I did have a little damage with Storm Bert. You can see this arch is not in line with the other arch, and it has actually broken off at the bottom there. But I think if I put some bamboo canes against it, I can probably fasten it together. Interesting to see that the passiflora doesn't really get touched by the frost by the looks of things, unlike the nasturtiums, which are now dead all over the floor and also need clearing up. And then the big beds, well, oh, look at the Cape gooseberries now, and they look funny. But yeah, they're just squidgy inside. They're no good anymore. So they've got to come down. And alas, the Greek gigantes, I don't think I'm getting any dry beans off of these, which is such a shame. I was really hopeful for those, but never mind. I've got some more beans. I didn't plant them all, so we can try again next year. And then the final bed, remember that baby corn we thought we might get? Yeah, I don't think we're getting any of that. But this, which is my purple sprouting broccoli and perennial kale cross, is looking lovely. So hopefully that will be fine. But yeah, there's nasturtiums back there that need clearing. There is, oh, that's ochre as well, so I can clear that. And underneath there should be some beetroot, the badger flame beetroot. So we'll have a look if there's anything in there. What about these ones? Oh, that's the parsnips. And we've got onions growing again in here. Ah, okay. Well, we'll see what they're doing. But yeah, I'm not going to harvest parsnips until Christmas. And if we follow Dory into the secret garden, which is looking a little messier than it should, we can see that these Jerusalem artichokes are properly done for now. So they can be cut down to the ground, and then we could harvest some of those tubers. So you can see there is loads to do. So better get cracking. Now I'm partway through clearing the greenhouse, but I've ran out of my pink buckets, these, which I've been filling with the soil that were in the pots of the aubergines and the chilies. And so I want to use some of this to mulch the beds. And the first one I want to do is the ocker bed. But what I don't want to do is just rip this out, because it will bring the tubers with them. And as I said, I'm not ready for those just yet. So I'm just going to cut this off down to the ground. And then this will go in the compost pile, and the mulch will go on top for the next couple of weeks before harvesting. Oh, I say that, but there's one on the surface. Oh, that's had a little nibble on it anyway. Oh, I'm really hoping, you know, with all the slug pressure that we've had this year, they have not ruined the ocker crop, else I shall be so upset. Good morning, it's Monday morning, but I am coming to you from the greenhouse. I can actually fit into the greenhouse now. Loads of stuff got cleared out of here. Obviously there is stuff to still come back in here to overwinter, but we've had a couple of mild nights, so I've left things out, and we've had rain as well, so they got a good water. Now, I left you Saturday evening as I was mulching the dahlia bed. We were losing light, but I did carry on, and I cleared another bed at the back of the garden. The back of the garden is almost there now, pretty much ready for planting in. I used a lot of the compost from the chilies and the aubergines and other various things to mulch those beds. Obviously, it's spent compost, so there's not loads of goodness in it necessarily, but it is still organic matter, and it's all protecting that soil over the winter. So I've done that. Sunday morning, I had good intentions to do planting out, but it was a washout. It was really rainy Sunday morning. But I did do some gardening jobs. I did some indoor jobs, and one of which was, as I promised, to peel the loofah. And I don't know if you've seen Clare's video where she peels her loofah and the absolute joy that she takes in that process. And I feel like I almost had that much joy when I was doing it, even though I wasn't the one to grow it. But yeah, they're fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic things to grow. And it was such a joy to peel it. And I got about 20 viable seeds from that loofah. So I've tried for 2 years to grow loofahs without success, but I have a feeling it's going to be third time lucky next year. So I hope to get the full pleasure of peeling a loofah that I've grown myself next year. So thank you to Claire for that. I'm probably going to make it into soaps like she has. And the other thing I did was plant the paperwhite narcissus. So I did those as indoor, so they're in vases. And this is the first time I've done paperwhite narcissus not in compost. So I did them in the vase just with horticultural grit or alpine grit at the bottom. You fill it up with water, so it's just below the surface of the bulb, and then place the bulbs on top, and the roots should come down and find the water. That's the idea anyway. So I did one for myself and one for my mom. And then Sunday afternoon, well, got the call, squad, assemble. Mark was down the allotment and he had taken all the glass out of his greenhouse and he needed some help moving it to the new plot. So I went down there, my cousin went down there, the squad, and we moved that greenhouse down to the new plot as well. So other than the shelter, that's all the big structures now down on the new plot. So that's pretty exciting. And of course, once you're down there, you just crack on, don't you? So my cousin and I back and forth again with the wheelbarrows, took loads of stuff down. It's really getting there now. There isn't that much left to move. And one of the things we did, which I said I wasn't, and then I did, was move the jostaberry. So the jostaberry is in a particularly weedy patch of the plot, the old plot, and it certainly brought bindweed over with it because it was something I took from another person's plot and put on mine. And but we managed to get it out of the clay, which was a mission in itself. That clay is just sucking the plant down. But we managed to maneuver it out and wash off the roots as much as possible. And then I planted it into one of the strawberry beds because I'm going to clear some of those strawberries anyway. Planted it into there. So yeah, I have got a jostaberry. It's in fact a baby of that jostaberry in the back garden. But I just felt I would regret not taking it. So thank you to my cousin for helping with that. So by the time I got home, there wasn't much light left, but I was all scruffy anyway. So I did come out into the garden and I cleared the other big bed. So yeah, the back of the garden is pretty much ready to plant into now, which is good because there's lots of stuff to plant in there and I've been sorting it out this morning. Oh, that just reminds me as I'm standing here. Remember all those seedlings I had that I never pricked out? Still not pricked out. What I think I'm going to do is just now that this bed is free, just directly plant them into it and see what happens. These look quite impressive. What are these? Florence fennel. I didn't know that that's going to do much. Some chervil growing though. And these are just various lettuces, and there's lamb's lettuce and mizuna and all sorts of things in there. Oh, hello, Dory. Right, so I've got my basket of onions and shallots, so they need to go out. And what I think I'm probably going to do is do like a half and half. So half of my onions, shallots, garlic can go in the home garden, and then half on the allotment plot, and just see how they do in comparison to one another. I have been upstairs and sorted through my garlic, so I told you I had a lot. This is the elephant garlic. I have a shoebox full of elephant garlic. Look at the size of some of these though. I mean, just incredible, just absolutely huge. I've got a couple of mono bulbs as well, and they smell gorgeous. I love elephant garlic. I've really come to feel like if I had only had to grow one garlic, it would be elephant garlic. So of the cloves that I grew last year, or the bulbs, I've saved most to plant out again. I am eating some, the smaller ones, but all the bigger ones I'm going to plant again because I just want to multiply this stock a lot. Plus people really like elephant garlic when you give it them, so it makes a nice gift. So I'm going to do again half probably here and half at the plot, and then I've got my regular garlic as well, and I've got quite a lot of this as well. So we have my saved garlic from last year. This one is a hard neck. I don't know the varieties of these anymore. I could put some guesses up on the screen, but that's the hard neck one. You can see the size of the bulb, really big. And I've already broken another bulb into cloves ready for planting. Just did that this morning. You don't want to break them up too soon. I've got this one, which I think is probably Germador, and so that's a bit smaller. I've got some of those, but they're smaller, but I love the pink. I love the pinkiness. This is a white one. I'm not sure what that one is. So that's to plant. Then I've got a couple of varieties from Clare again. Clare is really sponsoring this video, I think. Half of these shallots are Clare's, these garlic. Oh gosh, she also gave me Jerusalem artichoke tubers. But as you saw earlier, I've got a lot of Jerusalem artichokes, but these are a dwarf variety and they give a lovely red tuber. I think I'm probably going to plant those on the plot though. Anyway, the garlic she gave me, I've got Cork white and I've got Provence white there as well. So just a few cloves of each of those, so I can build some stock up of that. But yeah, that's a lot of garlic. That is a lot of garlic. I love garlic. Probably don't need as much garlic as I'm going to be planting, but oh well. I tend to keep Mum and Liam in garlic as well. So okay, I'm ready to plant then. So I need my hori, need my little kneeling mat, and let's find what spaces we're going to put these in. Trying to find my hori. Clearly have not fixed the arch yet. Right, where shall we start, Dory? Let's pop these on here. The beetroot is fine, by the way. Just growing away. I'm not sure that we'll get many beets. Where did that hori go? Well, if you were shouting at the screen there, Kerry used it to open the bag of bark. You were right, it was still by the dahlia bed. Whoops, don't really like to leave it out like that. Oh well. Right, I've got some seaweed feed. The other thing I thought I might do is broad fork the bed before I put these in, just to help if there's been any compaction over the summer. So I need to see if I can get in my shed to get the broad fork out. And yes, this has become a mess again. Oh, and dangerous. Oh, okay, it's right here. There's the beast. I also want to take this down to the plot and have a go at the beds there with this before I start mulching them and planting into them and stuff. Right. Ooh. Now I'm trying to remember, did I have garlic in this bed this year? Or was it there? I think it was there. It was there. It was definitely there. Right, so if garlic was in that one last year, let's put it in this one this year. Right. Oh, I should probably put some proper boots on to do this as well, shouldn't I? Blimey heck, we'll get there in a minute. Right, here we go. Now, if you haven't seen me broad fork before, this is a tool that essentially allows you to dig while continuing to be no dig. So all it does is, so it's these prongs, it goes pretty deep, and you pull and you lift up the soil like that, but you're placing it back where it was. So you're not turning it over, you're not disturbing the networks, the mycelium and the other networks underneath the soil. You're just creating some air pockets, and that helps with aeration, compaction, and water retention, all sorts of things. It's very good for the soil if you've been struggling with compaction when you're doing no dig. See how quick it is though? This bed is almost fully done, just like that, which is a lot quicker than digging it over. And a lot less disturbance. Yeah, rather than no dig, you might say this is more the minimal disturbance school of thought. Yeah. So I put this mulch on top of the bed, and now doing this should help the insects, the worms and such, to bring that down into the soil. Try not to take the sides off the bed. There we go. Whew. Ready to plant into. Oh, you know what I will do? I'm going to sprinkle seaweed feed over here for the garlic and the onions. So there's some nutrition for them, even if there wasn't much left. Oh, I can see the worms coming to the surface now. Come on, worms, take this down. Right, I'll just rake that through the surface and level it out a little bit. The other good thing about using the spent compost on these beds is that it's got all the perlite in and things. So that's being added to this bed to improve the drainage, which is good. Okay, I think that's about as good as it's going to get. All right, Dory, what are you eating? What are you eating? Stop it. Go on. Dirty. Dirty. Right, let's start with the elephant garlic then. Now, you want to bury these about twice their depth, like you would any bulb, really. There we go. Maybe even more. Getting right down to the bottom of the bed, into the real soil beneath. There we go. That'll do, I think. Before, I've always done 3 in a row, and that did provide nice big bulbs. So I'm going to continue with that spacing. I think this is 1 meter 2, so which is pretty standard for a bed. What I did mean to say, though, was that whatever I choose to have as the title on the thumbnail, it's not too late to be getting your garlic out. And in fact, it's traditional to plant your garlic on the shortest day of the year, which is still a couple of weeks away. So, and then you harvest it on the longest day of the year. So there is still time to be getting your garlic out. And that's why I've not been too worried that I hadn't got this in yet. So we've got 6 elephant garlic in here. So I think I'll do a row of regular garlic now. And I think I'll probably do a hard neck. So let's do that one, the big bulb one. Hey, babe. And then, because a hard neck and elephant garlic act the same in that they both have like scapes and things. Of course, elephant garlic isn't really a garlic. It's more of a leek. So let's do, how many have we got here? Maybe we'll do 2 rows of the hard neck. When you're splitting your garlic, you want to be careful of the base plate and to make sure that you're kind of taking a bit of the base off. And these ones, I can probably, just stick my finger in and pop those in. Get the right way round. I probably actually should have put them in the hole and then covered them, and then I would have been a bit more wary of my spacing because I seem to have got to the end quite quickly. Oh well, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. We'll do better on the next row. Okay. And then in here, wasn't it? A little bit tougher on this side of the bed. There we go. Done. Right, and then the last important part, elephant garlic. I didn't grow it there. I'm sure I didn't. Did I? Oh, well, I didn't need that label then. Elephant garlic, still there. Hard neck garlic. Well, let's put it on the second row so we know we're planted up to there for now. Maybe I'll put that one, since I've written it, where the second row is there. Okay. Clearly, this is going to take me a while and probably end up taking up quite a lot of space in the garden, if I'm honest. Good thing I'm doing half on the allotment as well. So I think I'll just crack on with this for now, and I'll show you how much of the garden I've filled up when I'm done. So I'm about to get rained off, but not done too bad. So I'll just show you the beds that I've put things in. So the bed that Dory's at, I've put the red onions in, and the one in front, I've put white onions in. The oca is still in there, so nothing's gone in that one. and the one you saw me on time lapse doing there was the red sun shallots. So I've put that in that bed because that's where the broccoli was from Clare, the tender stem broccoli. So now her shallots are in that bed. I think we'll call this Clare's bed. And then I have fixed the arch somewhat. So I've put bamboo canes around the back there and attached the frame to it, and it's standing tall again. It is obviously not a long-term fix, but then these are not really long-term arches. You buy cheap, you get cheap. So, but hopefully they'll do for another season. And then at the back of the plot, I haven't put any more in, so it's just the elephant garlic and the hardneck garlic in here so far. But then I rushed to take everything inside because I obviously didn't want the bulbs getting wet. That rain shower seems to have passed quite quickly, but nevertheless I've taken the opportunity to have a little tea and cake break. Actually, if the rain comes back, what I could do is do the planting in here. That would be a good thing to get done because those plants really need to get in the ground. But yeah, still lots of garlic and onions and shallots to go out, and of course still all the spring bulbs. I haven't even started on those yet. Plenty of work to be doing. But like I said earlier, it's not really too late. I have put tulips in January, end of January, and still had a display. It's just a little bit later, So if you haven't got your stuff in yet, then yeah, know that you're in good company, and we'll get there. We will get there. If you have, well done. You can sit back and relax and just be smug at the rest of us. Anyway, I should carry on and eat my cake. Not carry on with the gardening, eat my cake, and hopefully I'll see you back on the plot next week.